again, everybody. I'm out west, as you can tell. I'll read a little bit of chapter 11 to you, and I'll finish it up later somewhere else. So chapter 11 starts and says, I had to stay in bed a whole week after that. That bugged me. I'm not the kind that can lie around looking at the ceiling all the time. I read most of the time and drew pictures. One day I started flipping through one of Soda's old yearbooks and came across a picture that seemed vaguely familiar. Not even when I read the name Robert Sheldon did it hit me who it was. And then I finally realized it was Bob. I took a real good long look at it. The picture didn't look a whole lot like the Bob I remembered, but nobody ever looks a whole lot like his picture in the yearbook anyway. He had been a sophomore that year, and that would make him about 18 when he died. Yeah, he was good looking even then, with a grin that reminded me of Soda's, a kind of reckless grin. He had been a handsome black-haired boy with dark eyes, maybe brown like Soda's, maybe dark blue like the Shepherd boys. Maybe he'd had black eyes like Johnny. I had never given Bob much thought. I hadn't had time to think. But that day I wondered about him. What was he like? I knew he liked to pick fights, had the usual social belief that living on the west side made you Mr. Super Tough, looked good in dark wine-colored sweaters and was proud of his rings. But what about Bob Sheldon that Cherry Valance knew? She was a smart girl. She didn't like him just because he was good-looking. Sweet and friendly stands out from the crowd, that's what she had said. A real person, the best buddy a guy ever had. Kept trying to make somebody stop him. Randy had told me that. Did he have a kid brother who idolized him? Maybe a big brother who kept bugging him not to be so wild? His parents let him run wild because they loved him too much or too little. Did they hate us now? I hope they hated us. That they weren't full of that pity the victims of environment junk the social workers kept handing Curly Shepherd every time he got sent off to reform school. I'd rather have anybody's hate than their pity. But then maybe they understood, like Cherry Valance. I looked at Bob's pictures and I could see the person that we had killed. A reckless, hot-tempered boy, cocky and scared stiff at the same time. So, another going back to one of our themes, y'all, about empathy and understanding. Cherry Valance was trying to understand how the greasers were. And then, Pony Boy was kind of shocked that Cherry Valance was actually a cool person. And then later when he was talking to Randy, Bob's best friend, Pony Boy realized that this could easily have been any of his friends that had been killed. And that the world is not black and white. It is not good guys and bad guys. This is that old expression, walk a mile in somebody else's shoes kind of thing. So he's learning some empathy here for somebody that should just be, the villain of our book, basically. Pony Boy? Yeah, I didn't look up. I thought it was the doctor. He'd been coming over to see me almost every day, although he didn't do much except talk to me. There's a guy here to see you, says he knows you. Something in Derry's voice made me look up, and his eyes were hard. His name's Randy. Yeah, I know him, I said. You want to see him? Yeah, I shrugged. Sure, why not? A few guys from school had dropped by to see me. I had quite a few friends at school, even if I am younger than most of them and don't talk much. But that's what they are, school friends, not buddies. I had been glad to see them, but it bothered me because we live in kind of a lousy neighborhood, and our house isn't real great. It's run down looking and everything, and the inside's kind of poor looking too, even though for a bunch of boys, we do a pretty good job of house cleaning. Most of my friends at school come from good homes, not filthy rich like the Sochas, but middle class anyway. It was a funny thing. It bugged me about my friends seeing our house, but I couldn't have cared less about what Randy thought. Hi, Pony Boy. Randy looked uncomfortable standing in the doorway. Hi, Randy, I said. Have a seat if you can find one. Books were lying all over everything. He pushed a couple off a chair and sat down. How you feeling? Cherry told me your name was on the school bulletin. I'm okay. You can't really miss my name on any kind of bulletin. He still looked uncomfortable, though he tried to grin. Want to smoke? I offered him a weed, but he shook his head. No thanks. Pony Boy, one reason I came here to see you, if you were okay, but we got to go see the judge tomorrow. Yeah, I said, lighting a cigarette. I know. Hey, holler if you see my brother's coming. I'll catch it for smoking in bed. My dad says for me to tell the truth, and nobody can get hurt. He's kind of upset about all this. I mean, my dad's a good guy and everything, better than most, and I kind of let him down, being mixed up in all this. I just looked at him. That was the dumbest remark I'd ever heard anyone make. He thought he was mixed up in this? He didn't kill anyone. He didn't get his head busted in a rumble. It wasn't his buddy that was shot down under a streetlight. Besides, what did he have to lose? His old man was rich. He could pay whatever fine there was for being drunk and picking a fight. I wouldn't mind getting fined, Randy said, but I feel lousy about the old man, and it's the first time I've felt anything in a long time. The only thing I'd felt in a long time was being scared stiff. I'd put off thinking about the judge and the hearing for as long as I could. Soda and Derry didn't like to talk about it either, so we all were silently counting off the days while I was sick, counting the days that we had left together. But with Randy sticking solidly to the subject, it was impossible to think of anything else. My cigarette started trembling. Hello again, everybody. Taking a little break in the car, so I thought I'd read more of chapter 11 to you. So, from last time, remember Ponyboy's talking with Randy. Let's see. Alright. The only thing I'd felt in a long time was being scared stiff. I'd put off thinking about the judge and hearing for as long as I could. Soda and Derry didn't like to talk about it either, so we were all silently counting off the days while I was sick, counting the days that we had left together. But with Randy sticking solidly to the subject, it was impossible to think about anything else. My cigarette started trembling. I guess your folks feel kind of awful about it too. My parents are dead. I live here with just Derry and Soda, my brothers. I took a long drag on my cigarette. That's what's worrying me. If the judge decides Derry isn't a good guardian or something, I'm liable to get stuck in a home somewhere. That's the rotten part of this deal. Derry is a good guardian. He makes me study and knows where I am and who I'm with all the time. I mean, we don't get along so great sometimes, but he keeps me out of trouble, or dead. My father didn't yell at me as much as he does. I didn't know that. Randy looked worried. He really did. Soch even worried because some kid greaser was on his way to a foster home or something. That was really funny. I don't mean funny, you know what I mean. Listen to me, Pony. You didn't do anything. It was your friend Johnny that had the knife. I had it. I stopped him. He was looking at me strangely. I had the knife. I killed Bob. Randy shook his head. I saw it. You were almost drowned. It was the black-headed guy that had the switchblade. Bob scared him into doing it. I saw it. I was bewildered. I killed him. I had a switchblade and I was scared they were going to beat me up. No, kid, it was your friend, the one who died in the hospital. Johnny is not dead. My voice was shaking. Johnny is not dead. Hey, Randy. Derry stuck his head in the door. I think you better go now. Sure, Randy said. He was still looking at me kind of funny. See you around, Pony. Don't ever say anything to him about Johnny, I heard Derry say in a low voice as they went out. He's still pretty racked up mentally and emotionally. The doc said he'd get over it if we gave him time. I swallowed hard and blinked. He was just like all the rest of the Soches, cold-blooded mean. Johnny didn't have anything to do with Bob's getting killed. Ponyboy Curtis, put out that cigarette. Okay, I put it out. I ain't gonna go to sleep smoking, Derry, and if you make me stay in bed, there ain't anywhere else I can smoke. You're not gonna die if you don't get a smoke, but if that bed catches fire, you will. You couldn't make it to the door through that mess. Well, golly, I can't pick it up, and Soda doesn't, so I guess that leaves you. He was giving me one of those looks. All right, I said. That don't leave you. Maybe Soda will straighten up a little. Maybe you can be a little neater, huh, little buddy? He never called me that before. Soda was the only one he ever called little buddy. Sure, I said. I'll be more careful. Into chapter 11. Make sure you do your chapter summary, you all. That's a short chapter, so maybe just one sentence is fine. Just think about the important stuff that happened there. One thing to think about, why was Ponyboy saying all this weird stuff? Why did he say he killed Bob? You know, we know that's not true, the readers, but also Randy was there himself. He knows Johnny killed Bob. This is the thing, you all, where it's kind of, think about it this way. Ponyboy's feeling very guilty for Johnny being dead, even though, again, it's not his fault. He had nothing to do with it. He's feeling guilty, so in this weird kind of way to, you know, I'm going to teach myself a lesson kind of thing. I'm going to punish myself. I'll say I did it, basically, because Johnny is a good guy, and Johnny's my friend. He doesn't deserve to have people think he's a murderer. I did it. I killed him. Randy's like, what? No, that's not true. And then Ponyboy's also in denial about Johnny being dead. That's why he just, like, won't let himself believe it. It seems silly to us, maybe, like just reading it, but think about if you were in that situation, how messed up you'd be emotionally and mentally, just like Derry said. You know, so Ponyboy's not thinking clearly at all right now, and that's why he's acting that way. Okay, I'll read y'all chapter 12 from Somewhere on the Road, and hopefully with a better background for you. And then I'll put these up, I don't know, I might put them up from the road if I have a good enough internet connection. If not, these will be up sometime next week. So, hope y'all are still having a good summer and being safe, and read to you later. Bye.